Today we're going to be talking about why I am seeing more and more home buyers choose to not buy new construction. They're looking for those houses built pre-2000. They're looking for those houses built pre-2018. They are staying away from the new construction. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the reasons driving this change. The first one is quality. Quality is incredibly important. 2008, 2011, you're a builder, you build a bad house. No one knows. No one knows. Yeah, we're in a different world now. You build a bad house now, it's on Instagram, TikTok, Reddit. Consumers are becoming more educated than ever, which I think is great. As someone who's watched this for the last 18 years, I'm delighted. I also have to tell you, as someone who's been a mortgage lender watching this for the last 18 years, I've never seen so many new construction issues in my life. It is an epidemic. And I do believe that builders need to be paying attention to this. You can look up a builder and you'll see like 50 comments where people are like, they don't honor their warranty. And a builder may be thinking, oh, well, I'm saving money by not honoring my warranty. No, you're losing sales hand over fist because your reputation is becoming trash. Home buyers are becoming more educated than ever, and they're not going to tolerate this. That's the thing. We're seeing all the horror videos on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. We're seeing the new construction where the gas wasn't connected, where the house slid off the foundation, where it wasn't graded properly and the guy's house keeps on getting flooded. All of this is out there, and there's a ton of it. It's not one or two stories. There's thousands, okay? And that's what my buyers are saying is they're like, I don't know, like I read the reviews, they have 2 stars, it says they don't honor their warranties, there's a lawsuit against them, this, and this. Would I buy one of those? No, absolutely not, absolutely not, no. That's the thing, if you're looking at new construction, you need to research the builder. There's some builders doing a terrific job who still believe in quality builds. But there's a lot where you're just like, whoa, like, are you guys asleep at the wheel? What's going on? You're destroying your brand. Like, you guys are not going to have anyone buy your houses in the next 5 years if this keeps up, because a quick social review will show that like you are building crap. It's that simple. It's that simple. I'm not going to mince words on it. So quality is a huge concern for many home buyers. And look, I'll be honest, some of it's not the builder's fault. I saw this myself when I was doing my remodel. I got windows from a huge manufacturer, and half of them, the seals were busted within a year. That wasn't my contractor's fault. That was just the quality of the item. So beyond how the work is actually being done, there's been a decrease in quality, windows, tubs, you name it. Like the last few years, it's like COVID just turned everything sideways. There's a definite decrease in many sectors. So quality is the big one. The next thing is they're not paying attention to consumer trends at all. So I think that new construction right now is ruled by pencil pushers who aren't actually taking humans into consideration. Maybe it's an AI program, I don't know. The basic theory right now is you get a plot of land and you shove as many houses on it as you can and you charge as much as possible. Right? That's the general way that building's being done right now. And in a mathematical formula, without taking into consideration if anyone will buy these, it makes sense. But when you look at these same developments and it's like, let's say they want 500,000, they're not selling. They're sitting there. So this builder that thought they were going to make all this money, they're losing money because they're paying interest on the money that they had to borrow to build these houses. They're giving away huge incentives, so they're losing money there. And it's like, if you added all this up and you just did like less houses on the same plot of land that were slightly bigger, you would actually make more because people would buy them. That's the thing. I don't have any homeowners right now saying to me, Jen, I want a 7,000 square foot lot. I want to open my kitchen drapes and see my neighbor's bathroom. I want to open my bedroom drapes and see a wall that's this far away. Nobody dreams about that. And when you're looking at house prices in many parts of the country where it could be $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, you're like, what? It's like apartment living, you're just separated by this much air. That's what it feels like, right? And at the same point, the size of these houses has been decreasing. Last year, I believe the average was 2,408 square feet, which is the lowest in over 15 years, okay? COVID changed what Americans want when it comes to a house. It's that simple. What I hear most of is, yeah, we actually need another bedroom because I need an office. More people are working from home than ever before. I don't think builders have taken this into account. More people are concerned about the fact of, hey, like during COVID, I was trapped inside. They're looking for their house to be a retreat. And what's happening is we're seeing very utilitarian building. No one wants that as a retreat, right? So the family, let's say you've got, husband, wife, 2 kids. Back in the day, you're like, oh, that's a 4-bedroom at most, 3 to 4 bedrooms. Now, I'd be like, it's probably 4 to 6 bedrooms, right? What if he and she both work from home? They're going to want separate offices. That is where I am seeing consumers want to go. And in many markets, they could pay, $400,000, $500,000 for a new build that's not going to meet this desire, or they can just buy a house from the 80s or 90s that has a lot more space. And in many cases was built with better materials. What do you think they're choosing? Yeah. And then that ties into lot size as well. The average lot size, over 40% of new builds have a lot size under 7,000 square feet. The average lot size is 9,500 square feet. That's really small, guys. Only 9% of new construction has lots that are over half an acre. When I'm talking to people right now, I hear so much. I want a yard. I want to be able to have friends over. I want a barbecue. I want a pool. I want, the garden. Being able to grow your own vegetables is something I'm really seeing people want. And that's driven by how much fear there is over food scarcity right now. During COVID, you couldn't go out in some states and get food. It was really difficult at first. There were shortages. We're always being warned of supply shortages, threats to our food. If you look at media right now, it's very scary. And these narratives are making people, when they're looking for a house, want something they can feel safe. If you have some level of control over your food supply, that's a safety feature, and with inflation in the grocery store, it can be an offset of cost. But if you're on a tiny postage stamp yard, you can't do that, right? People want a place for their children to go play. Can't do that. And many builders will be like, oh, but we have a park. Most people aren't super comfortable with their kids just being at a park, and they can't spend all day at a park. Maybe they're working from home. So what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing home buyers shift towards buying older homes because they're concerned about new build quality, because they want a bigger home, and because they want a bigger yard. The whole concept of new construction in the past was you buy a new construction house, you don't have to worry about anything. It's perfect, it's beautiful, it's better than an older house. All of that's changed. So if you're a home buyer and you're looking at new construction, definitely research the builder. Once again, they're not all bad. But if you're in the market and you're like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense, this is why I've hated all the new construction, guys, go look at the houses from the 80s, the 90s, the 70s. Older is not worse. Yes, if it hasn't had a roof in 20, 30 years, you may need to do a roof. But I don't know about you, if I can get an acre and I have to do a roof, I'm gonna do that roof. So questions, comments, as always, feel free to reach out. 786-933-2077. My team and I would love to help you with your mortgage. We're always happy to talk about all this stuff because the bottom line is this. Ultimately, I want you to be happy in your house. Thanks for watching.